everybody, it's Carm here, coming to you on a Saturday evening. I mentioned last time that I recently went to a record show this past Sunday, and have some finds to show. I went last Sunday morning with Chris, John Coltrane 68, and Beck, he just put up a video of his finds from that same day, so hope many of you see that. And it was a great time, great meeting up with him again. It had been quite a while, and saying we need to do it more often. And it was kind of like we actually went to one last year around this time, and it had been my first record show ever. And he was great. Chris just kind of leading me through the maze or labyrinth of vinyl. It was overwhelming at first, but this time around not as much. Although it was quite crowded, as he had pointed out too, a lot of people everywhere. But he knew just where to lead me, and as soon as I walked in to the larger of the two rooms that we went into, it led me right to this one. Music and Gibran, Contemporary Interpretation, Roscoe. He was raving about this one, saying it's something I just needed to have. It's the poetry of Kahlil Gibran, set to music by the John Barbarian Ensemble. Kind of a mix of Middle Eastern, some real nice, like a real jazz swing, and even a little bit of rock, like progressive rock. The instrumentation, you have percussion, dumbeck, there's clarinet, finger cymbals, baritone sax, bass guitar, and conventional drums. Very nice, very powerful. The reading is, he reads in a very, I love this drawing, by the way, beautiful line drawing. It reads in like a very deep, kind of luxuriant tone, matches the poetry perfect, and the music and the words never seem to jostle for position, for lack of a better phrase. They work together so well, and I could see why he loved it so much. Really a unique recording, and would definitely recommend it if you like Middle Eastern inflected music and poetry. Just very powerful, a very powerful blend, and unusual. So thank you, Chris, for making that the first choice there. Almost immediately after finding that, came across this 801 Live, something I'd been kind of on my mind for a while. I'd seen it here and there and was intrigued by it, especially the Fender bass on the cover. And you can see by the lineup there, it's I think it would be like a real progressive supergroup, and it really is. A blend of progressive rock, somewhat of a fusion, a little bit of jazz, pretty funky too. I mean, there's some funk on this album as well. The rhythm section of Simon Phillips, Bill McCormick, for me really stands out on this. And of course you hear Eno's ambient experimental touches, but very nice. They do a cover of You Really Got Me on here. Is that Ray Davies? But very nice overall. Glad to have it after some years of seeing it here and there and just never going for it. But I knew I would eventually. The next one was another one Chris led me to. Pierre Boulez. He composed and conducted the music. It was for alto and 6 instruments. There's alto voice, alto flute, xylorimba, vibraphone, percussion, guitar, and viola. And I've always been a longtime fan of contemporary classical. I'm best aware of him through his work with Frank Zappa. I wouldn't say this is abstract, which I think is a term that gets abused here and there when describing certain things. The music, the instruments seem to hang in space in like a really interesting way. It's not linear in a conventional sense. There's a sense of narrative, but it's like the instruments are sitting at different points in space, and there's like a thread going through each of them, kind of just leading them to wherever they're going to go. And it's just a really interesting sense of flow to the music, but again, not in the way that you would be expected, you know, if you hadn't heard it. But having only given it one listen, it'll take you know, definitely more absorbing of it to really you know, really assess it. But powerful stuff, and you know, again, thankful for Chris for leading me to it. And I didn't have any of his work, you know, his own compositional work by him, so you know, very, very nice. Next one here, Brian Auger, Julie Tipppets, Encore. Have been a longtime fan of hers. A wonderful singer. They have an album of Carla Blaze called Tropic Appetites, which she's on, which she's wonderful on, and her Sunset Glow solo album, which is just a gorgeous album. And Brian Auger on keyboard, organ, and other keyboards, I've been aware of for a while. I know they had recorded earlier, I think in the later 60s. This one's actually from 77 on Warner Brothers. A really nice eclectic mix on here. There's some jazz and rock, but there's full funk and soul. And so you have some covers here. Got a couple of Al Jarreau tunes, Steve Winwood, Jack Bruce, Roebuck Staples. So yeah, really nice blend of styles. I was telling Chris I had read something about her that said she would sound great singing the phone book. I mean, her voice, her phrasing is unlike anyone else's, and it's very powerful, strong, versatile voice. Just you know, again, sounds great singing anything. So yeah, very nice album, and yeah, glad to finally have something by the two of them, which I'd seen for a while. Okay, now we go into the way far out area, which you know, Chris and I normally inhabit. Ever since I met him and even started watching his videos, I saw we had that in common. We just liked you know, the further reaches of sonic adventures. And we have Johan Timmen, Trip Into the Body. And it's just what it is. It's an electronic album, and yeah, thematically it just goes around various areas of the body. I don't know how well this will show up. You see the titles there. It's just taking you on a little travel there. The music is a blend of analog and digital synthesis from the early '80s, with I think all the hallmarks of the kind of convergence of the two, and also probably some of the maybe drawbacks. I don't know, it's a little cheesy at times, but it's fun. It's a fun album, and you can see an incredible detail in the notes as far as the equipment being used. But it's a pretty fun album. Some of these were pricier than others. This was a pretty, you know, maybe like mid-range price, but good to have. I feel like I've seen this shown somewhere. I can't think of who may have shown it though, but hadn't seen it otherwise. And yeah, it's a fun, you know, a fun approach and a fun concept. Now this next one, I know Chris had shown in a video some time ago, and it had it on my mind. Didier, okay, maybe sequences. I really like that little piece he has there. I believe he's French Canadian, or perhaps just French. More electronic, mostly analog synths here. This has a real, for me, kind of a warm, symphonic, cinematic, dramatic, though whimsical also. There's a nice blend of those aspects in the music. Just about everything I like in electronic music, really. I mean, it's melodic, rhythmic, but it's also atmospheric and experimental, you know. And this is something that I think I'll be, out of all of these, I'll be, you know, one of them I'll be listening to, you know, more frequently than others. Just my thing, and you know, thanks to Chris for showing it initially and finding it here. These two records and the next few were actually in the. Chris mentioned in his video there was a fellow who, a real expert on progressive. In fact, I think he even had a polo shirt that said progressive something. I don't know, maybe Chris remembers what it said. But incredible knowledge, and yeah, he is the kind of thing that you know, Chris and I are very much into. a lot of electronic and a lot of obscure, just some pretty heavy and deep stuff. Roth Trustel, incel music. Someone I've been looking for the last several years, 4 or 5 years. It actually come across his music on YouTube, and I believe it was his Two Faces album, which is another one I'm sort of seeking out. But really happy to find this. It's from '81. You can see the instrumentation there, 4 cuts, the long side long cut there. But yeah, just wonderful rhythmic, atmospheric. Little bit of a resemblance to Klaus Schulze's music, and maybe even Adelbert von Dyen, but definitely has a distinctive approach, and probably the priciest one that was there, but I don't think I would have found it otherwise. I mean, online it's either really pricey or just can't find it at all. So yeah, his stuff in general seems to be difficult to find. So no, very happy with this. It almost has kind of a shimmery, even aquatic feel to it at times, but just really wonderful. Another one I know I'll be playing quite a bit. And along a similar line, a group called Peru Machu Picchu. I believe they're Dutch. You see the Starship Enterprise there. I think this is from '79 or '80, and it's a trio, synthesizer trio, along similar lines, sequencer based. Each piece starts off a certain way and it just kind of stays along those lines the whole way, and then it ends and then goes to the next piece. Kind of similar to, if you saw a video I showed a while back, Takashi Kokobo, the album I found of his, The Grail. It's kind of along those similar lines. Chris and I were talking about, he had pointed out how a lot of sequencer-based music automatically gets lumped in as being, well, it's obviously must be like Tangerine Dream or influenced by them. But I think the sequencer has gone in so many different directions by different artists from then, 40 some years ago till now, and this is just yet another approach, which is quite distinctive and interesting. So another group I'll be keeping a closer eye out for. It was a pretty decent price too. Now this next one I showed in my most recent video, VCLT from Axel Book. Played some in the background. Asuka by Fumio Mayashita. I have another album, I think it's called Voyage to Space, which I had for a few years. Again, more electronic, more in the digital realm. This is from '85 on Kadokawa Records. And you can see with the Obi and everything. See the label there. I believe it came with an insert also. This one, more than his previous album, is more reflective of his more traditional Japanese, whereas I think the other one was maybe a little more European, from what I remember, though I haven't listened to it in a while. A very beautiful, lush electronics. It's quite in the digital. It's very warm for being as digital as it is. From you think in 1985, it would be kind of I don't know. Yeah, it was like there's Casio and there's some analog in there too. There's Juno 60, but our fellow synth lovers you can see on there. But yeah, just a very nice album, and someone I want to look into further. I believe he was connected. He may have been in the Far East Family Band or connected with it somehow. I have to look further on that, but yeah, very beautiful, and I'm slowly building up a collection of more Japanese electronic artists, beyond folks like Kitaro or Himikami, but yeah, just beautiful stuff. And yeah, one more I'll show for this video. In the room that we were in, after we went from this section, we were about to go into one of the smaller room, and Chris wanted to show me another cellar that was off in the corner of the larger room, and I came across this one. I think Chris found this one. The Alan Holdsworth with Gordon Beck, The Things You See. a wonderful duet for electric and acoustic guitar and electric and acoustic piano. I'd been a longtime fan of Alan Holdsworth for quite a few years. Gordon Beck I'd only known by name, but this is a fantastic album, as Chris had pointed out. Interestingly, on this one, Alan plays mostly acoustic guitar, which I had never heard him play before. He's been really probably my favorite electric guitar player for quite a few years, along with Terry Ripdahl and others. But on here, he takes a similar approach to the way he plays electric that he does on acoustic, but very fast runs, and they do a lot of exchanging of lines. It's really a fascinating collaboration. His piano playing is along the lines, I'd say, of Keith Jarrett, but also John Taylor, great British pianist, so piano player. So yeah, this is from recorded late '79, early '80. But yeah, it goes from traditional jazz to more progressive to kind of acoustic folk, but just a really nice blend, and would recommend it if you're a fan of, I'd say, either one of them, because I was really impressed with his playing also on piano. So yeah, great stuff, and another great pick from Chris. And yeah, I think that'll do it for this time. These are all the albums I've listened to. I still have to listen to a few more. We went into the smaller room, and I also found some CDs afterwards. And so yeah, I'll come back with a second part. So in the background here, I have Bruno Ender Lee, Velvet Voyage, Volume 2. It's one of the CDs that AXA Book sent. Yeah, actually, for watching, I've listened to all these CDs, all 5 of them, and they're all been in constant rotation. They're all wonderful. This I actually didn't show the cover on the video because I didn't find it right away. It was kind of slipped in one of the other ones. But yeah, excellent stuff. So yeah, it's be in the playlist for quite some time for sure. So well, thank you all for watching, and yeah, I'll be back soon with the second part. So hope you're all well. Take care.